Good afternoon. This is Lindsay. It's March 20th, 2022. And I thought I'd do a video today. I haven't been making videos much anymore. Just because, but I figured that, well, now that I have already experienced more things in the past several months, I figured I may as well talk about it. So back to videos, I want to talk about some narcissistic abuse and how these people completely fuck with your head and convince you that they really that you're that it's a real relationship when in fact they're just stringing you along. So what they'll do, okay, so basically you might be involved with somebody. You'll go out, you'll hang out, y'all are intimate, yet there's never any kind of conversation between you two about what sort of, sorry, the lighting is really, but what sort of relationship it is. You don't know if it's a what it is. Is it just a friend with benefits? Is it a monogamous relationship? Is that person seeing other people, or what? And so they don't ever talk about it. You don't ever talk about it. And so it seems kind of strange because, you'd think that after being with somebody for 4 months that would eventually come up in conversation. The person might say something like, "Are you seeing other people? What do what it's like you don't have any kind of status as far as like what the relationship is." And this is something that I've learned that a lot of narcissistic people like to do because they don't want to have to they like that status of being single so that they can always be available for whenever their right person comes around, right? They always want to look like they're available, or they don't, because that's just what they do. They don't ever really know how to commit. They have commitment issues. A lot of them have dissociate when things don't go their way. They cut you off, they gaslight you, they ghost you, they gray rock, and you're left wondering what happened. Things were going really well, and then all of a sudden they just stop communicating with you. They may do things like throw your phone number away and then contact you on social media, and then you'll ask them, "Why are you, what happened?" And they'll, they don't want to talk about it, because you obviously did something to cause some kind of a narcissistic injury. And instead of talking about it like adults, they have to resort to little mind games and mind fuckery, whatever. And this is just something that they do. And I speak from experience. And so it's meant to make you confused. It's meant to make you, as a victim of this kind of stuff, overwhelmed. It's to make you feel ashamed. You're left questioning yourself, like, what did you do? Why is this happening? Just because when you thought things were going well, then all of a sudden they do that. And then they start picking on you about little things and cutting you down. And it becomes really confusing. And so you realize, yeah, as much as you didn't want to have to say it or think it, you realize, yes, you're most likely involved with somebody who has narcissistic personality or dissociative personality or heavy traits of narcissism. And it's a shame because you really had put in effort into that relationship. You put in time, effort, and it's one-sided. And you get hurt. These people tend to hurt people, and they cause destruction in the path that they're on, and they hurt people, and then they just discard them, and that's what they do. And then it's just crazy. But so I'll talk about the discard, right? Okay, so we all know that as in narcissistic abuse, if you're familiar with it, if you're not and you feel like you're going through this, I suggest you educate yourself about some of the terminology. But we know that there's stages, right? There's the love bombing, stage, which is the first, obviously the initial stages, which can last anywhere from a month to 5 months to even a year, right? That's when they're praising you, they adore you, you can't really, everything you say is, you can't do any wrong basically because you're just placed on a pedestal to these people. But meanwhile, they're still observing you. And take into consideration that throughout the relationship, and probably even before you got involved with them, they are already trying to map you out and find out your weaknesses so they could later use that against you at some point, right? Whenever the final discard comes along. So there's a love bombing, the idealization stage. Mm-hmm. And, they might do little nice things like give you compliments, or they'll text you with the little smiley faces and whatnot, things to make you smile or to make you feel like you're loved or appreciated and wanted and desired, which is everything that you want in a relationship. People do have those kinds of desires. People have these kinds of desires in a relationship, and it's so inevitably the narcissist knows that, and they want to just kind of screw with your head so that you're left, wondering, like I said, what did you do? What's happened now? How did you upset them? And, mm-hmm. And then, so we have that first stage of the love bombing stage, right? The idealization. And then after that could, like I said, that varies how long that stage lasts. And then all of a sudden, you're going to find that all of a sudden the narcissist that you're going out, that you're dating, that maybe you thought it was exclusive, or maybe, whatever, you're going to find that all of a sudden they start devaluing you. They start giving you little snide comments and picking on you, criticizing you, making you feel unworthy, making you feel embarrassed, or whatever, things that they pick on you about. And then, and they do it in ways that are subtle yet very hurtful. It's like it's a form of gaslighting. They might, instead of like I said, they may have thrown your phone number away or deleted your phone number, but they might contact you on something like Facebook, even though you two are not even friends on Facebook. They'll contact you on Facebook, and they'll say something like just one couple words to you, but they don't ever really. It's never really a full conversation, and then whatever, they'll do little things, and then they'll do things to try to embarrass you, like I'm not going to go into detail about what's happened to me, but some weird things happen, and I'm not going to go into actual detail about some of it because it's just so weird. And then you have to wonder, like, is that person monitoring you? Are they stalking? Are they keeping tabs on you? I mean, it's weird because it seems like they know everything that you're doing, but you're not doing anything wrong. Yet you feel like they're punishing you sometimes, and that's all meant to make you question everything. It's meant to make you question your reality. It's meant to make you feel like you're doing something wrong when you're not. They play a lot of games, a lot of mind games. They do triangulation. They use third parties. They use flying monkeys because they don't really directly communicate with you. Instead, they have to use flying monkeys and whatnot because they're not good at communicating, and they love to use flying monkeys to do their bidding because that's how they are. They're very cowardly. So for example, they'll contact you on Facebook, right? And they'll say something like, they'll ask you if you want to go eat or something, or they'll say, are you hungry? And you might say, no, I'm not really. And then they'll take it offensively, and then they say, oh, okay. And then apparently they're offended by that because I guess that in their eyes you're rejecting them because you didn't feel like going out to eat or something with them at that moment, right? At that moment. And then they might contact you again later on via social media and say something like, you want to hang out, or can I come see you, or something? And you might say, no, I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired, I'm not feeling so well, and I'm already in my sleep clothes, and I'm just kind of not really up to seeing anybody. And then you'll make a little joke like, unless you want to see me in my pajamas or something, and then they get offended, and then they'll say something like, never mind, I ain't messing with you no more, see ya. And then that's it, right? And then before you can even respond to their message, you realize that they've blocked you on Facebook. They block you, right? And you're like, what the fuck? They block you for no reason. It's really weird. And it's, like I said, once again, it's meant to make you question your sanity. It's meant to make you feel like, what have I done now? It's meant to punish you. You see, these are games that they play. These are little manipulative tactics that they do to hurt you, to string you along. And so you think, okay, it's over, fine. They blocked me. This is a discard. This is in your mind. You're thinking this is a final discard, right? That's over, and you might even block them. But probably if you're a mature adult, you don't play the blocking game on Facebook or whatever with ex-lovers or whatever. You just don't do that, right? You might block other people, but not somebody who you're involved in a relationship with when there's no explanation as to why it's even ending. But they block you, okay? They block, you find out that you're blocked, right? And then you're like, okay, fine. You're hurt, your feelings are hurt, you're baffled, and then you get over it. And then the next day, you get a message from them asking something like, how are you? And then if you want to hang out the next day. And you're like, I thought you blocked me on Facebook, and you told me it was over, and now you see what I mean? It's like they come back either to cause you more pain or confusion, or when you thought it was all over. But see, you don't know what's going on, because it's like, this is all part of the discard. And now they're hoovering. Are they hoovering you because they ended it, but then they want to get back and still check on you or see you? So they're hoovering you because basically they already discarded you and ended it. At least so you thought. But you see how weird it is? And then you're going to find that, okay, so then you think, okay, cool, maybe we can work things out. It's just a lack of communication. There's a bad, because you really like that person, and they know that. They know if you really like them, they get away with this because they know that you like them. They know that you have developed feelings for them, and so they feel that you're an object, basically, that they can kind of push around and toy with your emotions. And this is something that these people do. It's a pattern. It's a form of abuse, emotional abuse, and they're very good at doing this. Okay, and they don't really ever change. This is just something they do. That you don't think that you're the only person they do this to, because they have a pattern of doing this to other people who they get involved with in these relationships. And so you're thinking, okay, fine, they want to see me again. Let's try to work things out, or let's communicate better, and maybe things will work out. And then all of a sudden, once again, they just stop talking to you, or they ghost you. Okay, and then you're like, that's weird. They wanted to hang out, but now they don't want to talk to you. Now they're not talking to you anymore. And plus, you see, but oh well, that's part of what narcissistic people do. It's like I said, it's all very confusing, overwhelming, and I'm gonna read some stuff about just for those of you who've been blocked, whatever, and you wonder what's going on, and then they block you, they unblock you, and you're thinking, this is just fucking crazy. It's like it's a game, but if you when you start researching this stuff online, on the internet, do Google searches or whatever search engine you use, and start typing in, blocking, your ex blocks you and unblocks you, or things of this nature, you're going to find that there's a lot of information about this. And start reading it and see if that resonates with you, and you'll be like, wow, because most of the time, okay, I mean, for example, here's a good website that I found about this exact topic, about narcissists blocking you. What makes a narcissist block you? And this is Cleveland Wright Jr., clevelandwrightjr.com. And he says, undeniably, blocking is by far the most pathetic and cowardly game that narcissists love to play. They will block you for different reasons, and the number one goal is to elicit control over you and make you submissive. This is also their way of showing just how little you mean to them. Exactly, because if they're going to block you, when you think about it, then obviously they don't give a shit about you, right? Why? If somebody cared about you and genuinely has respect for you or feelings for you, they're not going to do that, are they? Why would they do that? To get a reaction out of you, to get you to respond? Is it a cry for help? What exactly is the motive of them doing that? When you're involved with somebody, you thought you were in a relationship with somebody, or they all of a sudden break up with you, end it, and then block you, and then unblock you, and then try to see you, or initiate expressing that they want to see you again. I don't know if other people have gone through this or what your opinions are about this, but it is very confusing. So basically, clevelandwrightjr.com, that's a website you can look at about this blocking and unblocking stuff that they do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a narcissist. These people may not be full-blown narcissistic individuals, but they certainly do show a lot of characteristics of somebody who is a narcissist. So therefore, we're going to call them a narcissist. They might not be. They may have some kind of personality disorder that might not necessarily be a total narcissist. It might just be a dissociative personality disorder, which means that's what these people do when they don't get their way, when you've offended them, or if they feel rejected, they dissociate. They just cut you out, and they bye-bye, see ya, and then they just disappear. Instead of confronting it and communicating, they're just like, I'm out of here. So more about that topic, though, about the blocking, of what makes them block you. They do this to mess with your head and leave you in confusion and distress. They know what they're doing when they do this. Of course they do. They know that you love them and that you aren't just going to easily move on and forget them. They know you're going to try finding another way to reach out to them, and they will only just make you look weak and desperate when you try to communicate. They conveniently time their blocking when they have a replacement already lined up. You see, they usually, with these individuals, they have other people who they're grooming, or who they have already groomed, who are in the line, in their harem garage. Okay, you're not the only one that they're talking to, obviously, and you're not the only one who they're grooming or who they've love bombed or whatever. There's always someone else. No matter what you think, no matter how good things you might be going or whatever, trust me, there's always someone else. Always. They have to have their supply kit filled. If they don't, they start panicking. They conveniently time their blocking when they have a replacement already lined up. This person will be someone you have no clue about because they've been planning this behind your back. Do you hear what I'm saying? They know what they're doing. They planned it out. It's all very strategic. And it's fucked up. And so they do this, just like I said, because they don't want to confront, they don't want to have to talk. They don't want to communicate. They want the easy road. They're bad communicators. They're never going to accept fault for what they've done. They're not apologetic. They're never going to apologize, even if, they very seldom are going to apologize to you or admit to any kind of wrongdoing, because that messes with their ego. They're very egotistical individuals, very much into ego. They might, now depending on what kind of narcissist you're dealing with or you're involved with, they might be a somatic narcissist, meaning that they are very sexual orientated and that it's all about physical appearance and sex and whatnot with them. Whereas with a cerebral narcissist, it's more mental. They're not so much into that as they are the whole mental thing, okay? And now which one you're with, I don't know, but there's different kinds of narcissistic individuals. Now, you take into account, though, if they blocked you and then they unblock you and all that, do you really, it's always going to be that way. Then they're going to continue that game with you. They see now that, oh, this is fun, this is easy, I can do this and get away with it. And this person is going to come back no matter what. I can come and go as I please. And they're just going to take the bait. Because they see you as being a needy, weak individual who is codependent on them. Now, are you codependent? Or are you in love with that person? Or what? Because you, being the one involved with them, you need to take into account that you're at fault as well. If you continue to let them do this kind of thing to you, then you're basically telling them it's okay to do this. You're giving them permission to do this to you. Whether you're willingly doing it or not, it's an open invitation for them to fuck with you, mind fuck. Pardon my language, but I have to be blunt and upfront about what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to get this message across to people. If you're going through this. Mm-hmm. And it's not funny. I'm laughing because in a way it is funny. In a way, you have to keep a sense of humor about this kind of stuff because it's very, very juvenile. But it's also very hurtful when you're adults and you're going through this kind of thing. What else can I say? It's a game. You're flabbergasted, you're hurt, overwhelmed, confused. And these are all the things that they want you to be, because why? It keeps you under their control. Yeah, fun, huh? Nice. So, that's all for today. I can go on and on about this topic, and I'll continue to make more videos about this, as well as gang stalking and all the other bizarre crap that I've been going through as a targeted individual. But the whole narcissism thing, in my opinion, narcissism and targeting others, targeting people, targeted individuals, these two are connected. It all goes hand in hand, and so I can talk more about my targeted individual shit, and I'll do another video soon about my latest experiences with this crap, because trust me, I go through it every damn day. Every day. Sometimes not as bad, sometimes whatever, but nonetheless, every single day I have to battle the being targeted nonsense.